Here we are in the studio, and I just want to talk you through my glaze tests. And this grid method I've been using is basically from Ian Currie's book. I've just got photocopies of it here. He's got a couple of books, but it's he's really fantastic. Takes you through how to do it exactly. I've been using this set here, which is, it says for earthenware, but it's basically just varying the kaolin and silica. So varying the alumina and silica ratio with your base. So here he's using a frit because it's for earthenware. I'm using my granite that I collected and just seeing what happens when I add clay and silica to it. So in Glaze A, this is basically your high kaolin, so that's high alumina corner. And then B, we've got some kaolin and some silica, so that's a mix. C is just, that's your like flux corner, that's my heavy granite corner. And then D is the one with lots of silica, so that's your high silica corner. So I'll take you over here. So basically what I've done is done this test with my granite and I've done it in 3 different atmospheres. So this is reduction gas, this is oxidation gas, and this is gas soda, because I'm quite interested in soda firing. So let's have a look at this. So here you can see in this bottom corner, this is the granite on its own. This is 100%. So it melts on its own. And then in this corner we got the high silica. So you can see that's really matte and crusty, not good. But the glaze will take some percentage of silica, which could be useful if it doesn't fit. I might use that. And then up here we got the high alumina. So this is with increasing clay up here. And so you can see it gets more and more matte. But it will take some and still be, a shiny glaze, a melted glaze. And then this is with high silica and alumina. And so, this is pretty nasty zone. I mean, it's just not really a function. It could be good for sculpture, but it's not really what I'm looking for. And so this is the reduction. You can see a bit of a difference in the oxidation in the color, not a huge amount. And these came out a little bit, these kind of bubbled and came out a little bit more matte because of just the way I fired. And then in the soda is adding a little bit of extra flux. So we actually get more kind of acceptable glazes out of this than we did up there. But, so from this, there's not a lot that is really exciting to me. I decided to take this same batch of tests and then add 4%, 6% and 9% iron to them. And frankly, I'm not going to talk about these very much because it's all kind of like fairly dull, khaki nastiness. The oxidation ones are a bit more black, but yeah, basically this test wasn't hugely successful. It showed me that the granite can take some silica and some clay, but I didn't really arrive at anything particularly good here. In this set of tests, I took my base granite, so over on my first set of tests it was 100% granite. This here is 80% granite with 10% lime and 10% minspar. So it's basically a more fluxy version of my granite. And then I just ran the same earthenware set of tests that Ian Currie recommends in his book. So in this D corner we got high silica, here we got high alumina, that's with clay, and then here we've got a mixture of the alumina and silica. So you can see that with the extra flux, we've got more attractive glaze to my eye. It's more of a celadon. In the oxidation, you can see it's more pale and kind of like a bit more yellowy. And then this is the gas reduction. So yeah, there's the added flux is definitely making the glaze more attractive than over here. So yeah, I was pleased with that, although, you know, a lot of this is still not very nice. So which leads me to conclude that I need more flux. And the soda is adding a bit more flux, so some of these are more attractive, but in general, you know, this corner is the decent glazes. So I wish, you know, next time I hope to expand my grid more like that. Pull this way, so add more flux to my base. But so I took these same 3 tests, and then I added 4%, 6%, and 10% iron to them. So unfortunately this one broke. But yeah, you can see there's some, you know, we're getting to kind of like a Temakui style glaze in the bottom here. I've got some kind of bluish flecks there in the reduction. Oxidation tends to be more kind of like jet black. And then the gas soda, there was some more interesting flecks down here in this zone, and that was just with 4% iron added. And then when we go to 6% in the gas reduction, also we got some quite nice glazes there. The oxidation again is kind of like jet black. And then the soda, this got more soda, and you can see it kind of gets a little muddied. So out of these ones, you know, I'm kind of most attracted to the gas ones. You know, even just the straight granite with a bit of extra flux and then 6% iron. I think this is quite nice. And then when we get to 10% iron, it all gets a bit much. It's kind of oversaturated. And, you know, there's not much difference in the oxidation ones, really. You can see it's all they're pretty much just a black. The iron reduces itself over a certain temperature. And then 10% in the soda, also it's kind of like a gun metal sort of matte black, not particularly attractive. So I'm kind of into the 4% soda and then 6% in the gas reduction on these ones. So in this set of tests, I took my base granite, which is here, and then I did a high lime corner and a high minspar corner, and then a mixture in B. So you can see the interaction of the granite with lime and minspar. And I've made a successful glaze before with about 10% of each, which would be kind of like in this zone. But it's kind of interesting to see as you get more lime, you get into this like matte, lime matte area, and as you get more minspar, it kind of grays out the glaze. So I believe that's because I was talking to John Neely about it, and he was saying basically you're diluting the amount of iron. The color is really coming from the iron in the granite. So, you know, there's potential over here. If I added, say, 1% of iron, it would bring it back to kind of like that level of color. So these ones were in reduction, and then these down here were in oxidation. So you can see that, you know, the colors are much more pale. Yeah, not, you know, I don't find them as attractive, but I feel like they could. I do the oxidation test because I think there might be some interest found. And then these ones are in soda, and yeah, it's a little bit different. You know, you tend to get more matting. I think the soda in the atmosphere it kind of tends to make glazes more matte. But there are some quite nice satiny feeling glazes in there. But essentially it's pretty similar to the reduction set. A little bit greener, less bluer, I think, too. So in this set of tests, I add bone ash and then various levels of iron. So up here, basically these tests go from reduction, oxidation, and then soda. And we are adding 1% bone ash, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, and 20. So if we look at the reduction test first, not much changes, frankly, until we get to about 6%, and then the glaze tends to get a little bit more milky and matte. But you know, it's not huge variation like this. I was surprised the bone ash addition did not do a huge amount. I was kind of trying to aim at a chun, and we didn't quite get there, but you can see that the oxidation, as we might expect, is kind of paler green, and then in soda it tends to be a bit more satiny and greener and more matte, just kind of on its own, which is what we've seen in other tests and kind of come to expect. Now we add 4% iron to the tests here, and you know, none of these are particularly exciting to me. It's interesting to see that the soda tends to make the iron a bit more green, and I've dipped these tests twice on the top, so you can see the thinner is more greenish yellow on these. Now we add 7% iron, and these begin to become more interesting, I think. There's sort of more of that brownish green, a brownish black, like more, there's a bit more movement happening in these glazes. Still not, you know, not hugely exciting. But in the soda, more interesting things start to happen. We actually get some kind of red flecks. And especially down here, where we're at 20% bone ash, there's quite a lot of red in there. So that's quite exciting. I'm definitely going to explore that more. And then when we get down to 10% iron added, you can see that the oxidation ones are just kind of jet black all the way along. And then the ones in reduction, there is some interesting movement happening. I would kind of like to promote more movement in the glaze, so I think adding more flux might make these more interesting. But there's definitely, I could see this on a T-bowl being quite nice. These are these same tests on bigger test tiles. So you can see the addition of bone ash, like across the board, it seems to make the glaze a little more interesting. You get these flecks, but there's not a huge difference between like 1, 6, 10%. This is the 15 and 20, and they almost have less of the bone ash effect that I would expect. However, in the soda, we did get some more interesting stuff going on. It's pretty similar to what we saw with the 6%, but maybe a little more. Definitely want to explore that. If I could get a red glaze out, it'd be really great. In this test, I'm taking my granite and adding Dolomite to it. So up here, I'll take you through the reduction ones. This is with 2% Dolomite, 4, 6, 8, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 40. So we can see that not much happens until we've still got this sort of translucent turquoise celadon until we get to 254, which is with 15% Dolomite. I was kind of surprised how much it took to start getting matte. And then when we get to 40%, we're really matte. I mean, quite dry down at that end. And as we would expect with oxidation, it's kind of a lighter green color. And also in general, we go from darker to light with the dolomite added because the iron is being reduced. I mean, like less iron present. In the soda, we're even at this end, we're getting kind of more of a satin feel. And same thing happens, it goes down to quite dry at this end. Not unattractive though. So then in this next set, I add 1% iron to the same batch of tests, and there's some quite nice color in there. Yeah, I see some potential in these. They crazed quite a lot. And then, yeah, as you go along, they get more and more matte and kind of less attractive. The oxidation ones were not very attractive at all. And the soda ones either, you know, it's kind of like a muddy green, not particularly nice. Then in this next set, I add zircopax. So I added 10% zircopax to this whole set. And that tends to opacify. These are the reduction ones. These have also got that 1% iron in. Not particularly nice. But the ones in the soda were more interesting. You know, we go from this kind of brownish chestnut, and then at this end we get to a yellow. And I'm really trying to get a yellow glaze, so this is quite exciting to me. I'm definitely going to do a lot more tests around this. This is 40% dolomite, 10% zircopax. That's added to the glaze, so there's 100% of the granite. Well, it's 80% granite, 10% lime, 10% minspar, and then an addition of 40% dolomite and 10% zircopax. So if you think about it, it's actually like the resulting glaze would be about a third dolomite. And it looks like it would run in heavy soda, so I'd have to sort that out, probably add a bit of clay to it. But yeah, I'm quite excited about that. And then this final test, I add 6% titanium to that same set. So that's got all the dolomite and zircopax in it. And so in reduction, you get these kind of translucent, strange brown to purples and drippy, which some people might like, kind of jazzy. I don't particularly. And then in oxidation, you have much less effect of that. You do get some, but less excitement in there. And then in soda, same thing that we saw in reduction, but even a little bit more. This is just a bit much for me. I don't mind these little crystals, but the purple's a bit much for me. But I do quite like down at this end. We're in the yellow zone again, but very, very drippy. The titanium's making it drip even more. And I got these few tests here and bigger test tiles too. So yeah, there you go. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'm just going to flick through my notebook in case I lose it. So this is purely a record of my notes about these glazes, and I can pause the video on these if need be. I recognize that this doesn't make for a very interesting video, but you never know, it could be important. Do have a habit of losing things. It's my plan for the future. And this was the notes from the soda firing, the last one, number 19. It went really easily. And then notes from chatting with John about these tests.